Welcome to Archetypal Atrocities, the show where we play bottom-of-the-barrel Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes. Each week, Jules and myself will spin a wheel to determine what archetype we'll be playing for that week. In addition, we'll open 3 specially curated packs and pick a card from each of those packs to use in the deck for that week. We are allowed to play staples, but only if they support the archetype we get, and we can only play 1 copy of them in our decks. The winner of each week will get an extra pack they open for the next episode, while the loser will get to spin a loser wheel with multiple results on it, such as choosing your opponent's deck or moving an archetype from your wheel. The loser will also be able to play 2 copies of a staple as opposed to just 1. Now that that's out of the way, let's dig into some trash. Well, we lost in a pretty handy fashion. We picked Jules' archetype and we still got demolished. Frankly, the fate of any Gen X player, but I was also playing Gen X and I also played terribly. I didn't open my packs. I didn't add my level 4 Gen X. It was just a shit show all around on my part. I deserve to lose that episode in so many ways. But because we lost, that means we're back on the loser wheel, which hopefully means we get to redeem ourselves in some capacity. So let's go ahead and give it a spin, and it looks like we will be ending up with... Okay, so we have a respin ticket, which means we now have access to a reroll on the wheel if we get an archetype we don't want to play. Even if I'm not using this episode, I'll have it for future episodes, so that's kind of nice to have in the bin. With our reroll ticket in tow, let's go ahead and spin the wheel to see what archetype we're playing this week and see if we're going to use it immediately, which it's definitely possible. But we are playing Naturia. I actually like Naturia, so I'll go ahead, I'll cop Naturia. They have fun synchros, they have fun cards. I think they were top tier in Duel Links at one point. Yeah, I'm excited, so I'll keep my reroll ticket for a future episode. I'll rock Naturia.
Well, you know what they say, better lucky than good, and last week we were definitely lucky because our deck sucked, but so did Johnny's, and thus we won the coin flip and won the series in a pretty convincing fashion. But I don't want to pat myself on the back too much for that. After all, it was Flamvell versus Gen X. It could have gone either way. But this week, fresh start, new deck, and we're on Element Sabers. Sure. I actually don't think I've read a single one of their cards before, so this should be interesting.
Alright, unlike the Gen X episode, I will remember to open my packs for this week, so let's go into getting one. And we got a Cyberjaw immediately. Pretty nice. I think there's a lot of like flip effects in the Churia, so that's actually pretty nice. Plus Smashing Ground instead of Plane. Honestly, a lot of good cards out of this pack. It's pretty exciting. Second pack, Reasoning could actually be good. I think there's some Naturias that actually want to be milled. I think they have like special effects when that happens. Magician of Faith is maybe okay. Terraforming, I feel like they have a field spell. I think they have World Tree. I feel that's a trap card or not. And for our final pack, we got a Utopia. Monster Reborn's very, very nice, I think. Because the Naturias do have synchros, so being able to kind of more guarantee synchro summon, which is a big issue last week. Definitely nice. Creature Drop's also not bad. Sphere Creep was decent. Got some options here. We also got the Fairy Box, so we had this one, I think, one in the first pack. But realistically, you're probably playing Monster Reborn.
I'm not entirely sure what cards I want for Element Sabers yet, but hopefully we'll find them. And, well, so a Link 4 is interesting because, you know, it's an extra deck monster, but we have to really ask ourselves, can we make 4 monsters reasonably? Which for most decks in this series, the answer is no. And if that's the case, we're probably going to be looking at probably Vengeful Bog Spirit. Slowing the game down more, I feel like, is generally pretty good, but I'm hoping it's going to be the Saryuya, unless like I feel like Element Saber just really can't summon it at all. So we'll go on to the next pack, and oh, well, you know, between Rod and Fairy Box, like, you really can't complain either way. Both of those are pretty great in this format, so... Next pack here, we've got Dark Bribe. It's a card. It's a card. Reasoning might be fun, potentially. Yeah, I think I might actually want to go with Reasoning. Maybe, I don't know. I just think Reasoning's a fun card. And when is it going to come up again? Probably not anytime soon, right? And since we were the winners, we actually do get that 4th pack. So let's flip them up. And, well... I mean, when I pull it, I've got to try for it, so we'll probably be running that Cyber Jar.
Here is a deck for the week. We are playing the Churia. The Churia is interesting as a deck. Pretty much it's going to be slow, but we have 2 Saboteurs because since we lost last week, we get access to 2 copies of a staple card we pull. We pull the Saboteur. The Trio's biggest problem is flooding the field because they have really good synchro monsters. They just have a very big struggle with flooding the field. So Saboteur, since we're pretty much almost only playing monsters, we're pretty much only going to be hitting on a Trio monster because they're all under level 4. All can be normal summoned, special summoned rather. So Saboteur is pretty much almost guaranteed to hit stuff that's relevant. And then we have the 200 Beans, which is kind of a nice stall card. It takes 2 attacks to be able to kill it, and then when it's destroyed, it gives 500 burn damage. Butterfly, when an opponent monster declares an attack, you can send the top card from the deck to the graveyard to just negate it. Only once per turn, but it's a soft once per turn. The Trio Camella, pretty much when it's summoned, you can Foolish Burial in the Trio card, which is nice for a Sacred Tree, which we'll get to in a little bit. And if you attribute a monster to activate the Trio monster effect, which I don't think we're actually playing any cards that do that, you can pretty much send the top 2 cards from the deck to the graveyard instead. One Cliff, one of the better kind of set cards. When sent from the field to the graveyard, you can just special summon a level 4 or lower in the Trio monster in attack position. The Trios don't have that high of attack, so hopefully this is like the last monster that Jules hits into. It's also just sent to the graveyard. It doesn't have to be destroyed, so like if we synchro it off or tune it off or whatever, we can still have access to a new card to refresh, kind of help us synchro climb a little bit. 3 Cosmo Beat, it's a free special summon whenever the opponent normal summons a monster. It's decent, it's a tuner, it has fun art. Fruit Flight's pretty bad, we're just playing it for its level because we need a 5, 6, and 7 for our synchros, I believe. So that's why we're playing some Oddities. This is just the best level 3 monster. Just all monsters your opponent controls lose 300 attack and defense for each Trio monster you control, which could be a lot depending on the Saboteur. And then once per turn, you can target one monster with 0 defense and take control of it till the end phase. So if Jules is on like some low defense monsters and we have this out and a lot of the trio, we can just yoink a monster. 3 Horn Leo, just level 4. When your opponent special summons a monster, you can tribute or face up a trio monster and destroy that monster. There's no guarantee Jules has a lot of ways to special summon monsters from her deck or hand or whatever. So the Whole Needle is kind of a way to destroy them if this is on the field, plus it has decent stats. Mantis, not great, just when your opponent normal summons a monster, you can send a trio monster from hand to the graveyard to destroy that summoned monster. So it kind of negates a normal summon. It does require you to have a Naturia monster in your hand, potential playing pretty much almost exclusively Naturia monsters. It's not too bad. Mole Cricket, this is probably the best card in the deck. Just during the main phase, you can tribute this card, and it's a quick effect too. To special summon 1 Naturia monster from your deck, or 2 if your opponent controls the monster with the highest attack on the field. And since the Naturias are very small in attack, odds are we'll be able to get 2 monsters, which pretty much guarantees we can synchro into any of our synchro monsters. And then if your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, while it's in the graveyard, you can just special summon it back and then use its effect all over again. You can only use effect once per turn, but you can pretty much get 2 synchros out of it, which is pretty neat. Assuming Jules is on a deck that can actually use the extra deck. Last of the Trio monsters, it's our Stink Bug. When a Trio monster is targeted for an attack, you can send this card from the field of the grave to negate the attack and end the battle phase. Okay, as a effect, it's a nice tuner. 2 Rock Spirit, kind of just generic Earth support. You can banish a Earth monster from your grave, plus summon it, so it's kind of a way to get a level 4 Earth onto the field without needing to use up all normal summon. And since we're synchro summoning, of course we have Monster Reborn, so if Jules does get rid of any of our synchros, you can bring it back with Monster Reborn. 3 the Trio Blessing, decent card. You can special summon 1 of the Trio monsters from your hand or graveyard, or you can immediately synchro summon, so you can excel synchro on the opponent's turn, and it's also one of our only ways to fusion summon. 2 Fairy Box, we are on the Churia, and they're very low attack monsters, and we kind of need them to stay onto the field, so we're playing Fairy Box kind of helps solid. And in Sacred 3, pretty much if it's ever sent to the graveyard, we can pretty much get a free Naturia card from our deck to our hand. And then if it's on the field, we can flip it up to either tribute an Earth Insect, but summon an Earth Plant, or vice versa, because all Naturias are either Earth Plant or Earth Insect. So we're pretty much most using it for the search effect when it's milled, but the other effect could come up occasionally. We have a lot of options in the side deck. We have Dragonfly, which cannot destroy battle with a monster that has 2,000 more attack. So if Jules has like a lot of monsters or like big bodies on the field, this is kind of a way to help keep us around. The Naturia Eggplant, return from the field of the graveyard. You can select one of the Naturia monster from the graveyard and add it to your hand. Kind of a way to recur. If she's on like a lot of removal, then this is kind of a way to help mitigate that. Naturia Mosquito pretty much is a way, it's a lock, because if you have a face of Naturia monster, your opponent cannot select this card as an attack target. So if you have 2 Naturia Mosquitoes on the field, it's pretty much a lock and Jules can't get out of it unless he has creature-based removal. And there's the added bonus that any battle damage taken happens to the opponent instead, so she's going to have to pretty much do what happened in the Ojama episode, where attacking into it will hurt them. So hopefully, it's not too guaranteed we're going in this, but we'll see what happens. The Naturia Pumpkin, you can run this card as a normal summon, and your opponent controls a monster, you can just special summon, it's kind of a way to flood the field. And we have the Cherry Rock. Once per chain, when a trap card is activated, you can send a top card from your deck to the grave, let's special summon this card from your hand. There's no guarantee Jules is playing trap cards, so that's why it's in the side deck. Plus, it's kind of a niche effect. It's not too great. Most of the side deck cards are like if we just feel a little frisky or want to change things up. Most of the time, though, we're just going to be keeping our main deck as it is. And now into the side, we're playing one Mrs. Radiant to kind of give our singles a nice little attack boost because it boosts all Earth monsters by 500. One Leo Drake, probably won't ever make this, but if we do, just a way to have like a big body on the field. 3 Landoys, this is the monster in negate Naturia by sending a spell card from hand to the graveyard to negate the activation of a monster effect. Not the greatest one, but decent enough stats. So this is one we're probably going to go into the least. It's definitely the worst of the Naturia Synchros. On the contrary, the best of the Naturia Synchros, we have Naturia Beast. Whenever spell cards activate, you can just mill 2 cards to just negate the activation. Very, very powerful card, one of the best synchro monsters in the game. Balkeon, kind of the same thing, but for trap cards, and you have to banish instead of mill to negate a trap activation. These are all quick effects, also pretty nice stats for an easy to summon synchro monster. Naturia Geistro, you need 2 of your Earth synchro monsters to make, and during either play turn, when the card effect is activated, it touches exactly one card on the field. You can send a card from your hand to the graveyard to negate it. So if Jules is playing like a lot of spot removal, I don't know if there's any like major archetypes that do that, but if she is, this is an option we can go into to pretty much just have an easy negate, plus very good stats. And in the Naturia Exterior, everyone's favorite Waking the Dragon target, one of the best fusion cards ever. It's pretty much when a spell or trap card is activated, you can banish a card from the graveyard and then mill 1 card, so you pretty much always have access to a spell and trap negate on a monster, because you pretty much, the second part of the effect feels the first part, and you can just keep doing it. It's not once per turn. Very good while being on a good body. So outside of combat, it's almost impossible to move because you can almost always negate. And that's the deck this week. The trio I actually kind of like. I like the aesthetics of these a lot. Hopefully it's going to do good in the duel. Let's see. It depends. I feel like it's very dependent on A, opening Cyberjar, and B, what Jules is on. We'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and toss over the duel and see what happens.
And here's the deck. I'm kind of 2 minds about this one. I was surprised to see the Element Saber actually does things, but it's also one of those archetypes that kind of really lives and dies by its outside support. Technically, I'm not even fully playing by the rules. I'm technically playing both the Element Saber and Element Lord archetypes, but they're the same thing. We all know this. What usually makes this archetype more playable is running it with stuff like Invoked or other archetypes, but we can't do that. We don't even have access to like the good extra deck stuff, because while technically Hope Harbinger is within flavor as a number monster, it's a generic staple and thus isn't included. As such, we really just don't have anything extra. We have the elemental links that have already been established as canon, as well as Saryuya, and this does bring out one kind of interesting thing, in that the Element Sabers are really good at changing their elements in the graveyard, which means running a card like Salvage or Quillpen of Goldos actually kind of does things. It's not huge, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but it is something at the least. And hopefully what we have to just bank on is getting a hand that gets us to one of our Elemental Lords, which they are in-deck box monsters, which isn't the worst thing for this series. And just hope that Johnny, whatever they're on, can't really out it, So it's in some ways similar to last week. In some ways better, in some ways I'm less confident, but only one way to find out.
Here we are, it's episode 12, finally in an episode where we're not picking each other's archetype. It's been a while since we've both had a wheel spin.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm not overly confident with my deck, but I do like the deck I round up with. I did actually get a reroll ticket. I didn't want to be using it because I actually wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to have that reassurance that if I get something I really don't want to play, I can at least avoid it.
That is nice. With my deck, it was one that I knew was a Duel Links thing vaguely once, but I have not read their cards before. It feels like they're going to be one of those ones where either it's going to be all or nothing with it, I feel like, because either it does what it's trying to do, and it's it did the thing, or it's just no, lacking other archetypes, this archetype doesn't do much, and then we'll be stuck. So we'll see.
So let's see what happens. We might both vaguely be Duel Linksing, but before we get into Duel Links, we got to get rock, paper, scissors going. Oh. Oh.
Ah.
Ah, I thought you go rock. I thought you do it. Bad read. I went for the bit read.
I'm gonna go second.
Interesting. Very interesting. Also very interesting hand.
Oh, this is okay.
I think how it has to be is just a good old tea set. Keep you a little in suspense.
All right, interesting. Well, I've drawn two pack cards, so it's like, wow, I'm eating good tonight. I have real cards in my hand. Since you have no information right now, this is literally the best time to activate it. Reasoning.
Ah. Okay. Normally level 4 is like the safe pick, but a lot of these archetypes just don't even have level 4s. So I'm gonna take a different kind of read. Playing reasoning. Let's go with 2.
Ew, all right.
Slot machine begins.
Oh no! My rod. Actually, yeah, because none of those can be normal or summoned yet, so we'll keep going. There we go, and you missed.
Element Sabers. When you said Duel Links, I was thinking Aeromaids. I did not expect Element Sabers.
So I get to special summon this dude because he can be normal summoned. Yes.
Well, that's actually a really nice hit for you.
Then I'm gonna activate Trade-In.
Yeah.
Relevant pack cards for once.
Actually resolving trade, and I forgot we had that in the packs, to be honest. I also forgot the elemental lords were part of this archetype.
Yeah, because it's like they're technically not, but they, in all other senses, they are.
Pretty much all except the name, I think.
Yeah, cause I think it's because like the field spell works for both and everything. So it's like one thing is like with this deck having played, it's like fuck, I have to think about stuff. It's not just well, I can only physically play this one card. So yeah, I'll normal summon Element Saber Nalu.
Okay.
And use its effect to send an Element Saber from hand to grave, then target an Element Saber or an Elemental Lord in my graveyard and add it to hand.
Okay, so free trading. Nice.
Yep, pretty much.
Seems good.
I will discard Molhu to then bring back the Phosphorage to hand.
It's kind of funny, discarding Molhu when like this was like the Element Saber in Duel Links. Like this was like the one where it was the best by far.
Yeah, and it's like it's usually that would be the play for sure, and maybe even probably was in this one too. But it's like I kind of threw away the only Lord in my hand, so I kind of wanted to guarantee having one to summon if I.
That's fair.
Although I don't even know if I'll get there because I don't know if I can fully fill the bin enough.
You are
unless I start like linking things off too, perhaps.
Quite a few light monsters away from getting that going.
Well, in that case, since that is very true, what I'll do instead is I'll activate. So the one kind of fun part about this archetype that I realize is that since not only does it represent every attribute, but in graveyard you can change their attributes.
Oh yeah.
Silly cards to become live now. I'll activate Quill Pen of Goldos.
Yeah.
To shuffle back, actually how it works is, I shuffle back 2 winds in my graveyard, then 1 card in the field. So I'll change Molu to wind, and then shuffle it and the Wind Lord back into deck. Yeah. And then I'll bounce your back row to hand.
Yeah, that's fine. Hand it goes. I've never seen this card actually be useful. It's just the card when I used to play Duel Links, when I was trying to grind, I'd always just get this fucking card. I probably have like 100 copies of this card. I'm sure there's all the people who still play Duel Links, which if you do, I'm sorry. Probably also have even more than that.
Set this, move to battle. I will hope 15's enough. See if I get greeted out.
It is, but it's Cyberjaw, baby.
Oh no!
We actually got to resolve it on the show finally.
Alright, so destroy all monsters. And we reveal the top 5.
Yeah, well, we see what I'm playing now. Oh my
Oh,
god, that is a
fun.
cracked ass hit. Oh my goodness gracious.
All level 4 lowers. Okay, I got two. I got two
Uh,
Maloofs.
all your all of them are out of the deck now. Oh no, I guess you preserve one back. I'll let
Time.
you. I'll leave them up for now just so you can see the ones. Cause I'm assuming you're gonna attack some of them.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll read them over real quick. All right, so yeah, I'll attack into the and since it'll be face down, it's probably the best time to attack it.
ye- okay, so this will die. That doesn't do anything. No, this one I think it's still not destroyed. It has. That's a. I don't believe that has to be
Yeah,
face
that's
up.
fair.
It'll just get face
Yeah,
up, and these will be set.
yeah, that's fair. Then main
I
two.
think that's how that works. If not, the comics can yell at
That
us.
sounds right. Like for sure.
I realize how good Cybertron is for Naturia in a format like this. The biggest struggle
Yeah.
is just getting the creatures on the field to synchro. With Cybertron, it just kind of
Mm.
does it for you. So convenient.
Yeah, I guess the best play is gonna be uh, activate the effect of Lapulia mana to. I'll discard Connie, and sadly, I have to ditch this Elemental Lord I added back because I want to get the light protection. So, so I'll also pitch that to special summon out this, and now all of my Element Sabers and Element Lords cannot be destroyed by battle or targeted with card effects.
Okay.
That is all I have.
Alright. I think that's okay. Let's go standby main.
I see why you play Invoked with this now, just to get attributes in
Yeah.
the fucking graveyard. It's just like, ah, yeah, that's how this deck does things at all.
this shit destroyed Duel Links. That's actually what made me quit, and thank God it did. I'll normal summon this, and then now, since you control the monster the most attack, I can tribute this card, special summon 2 Naturia from my deck.
Oh, nice.
So I will do that.
Pretty good normal summon.
It's not bad. And then let us get summon this, summon the beat.
Mobeat.
I will then a synchro 5 for the beast.
Mm-hmm. Actually, oh, spell card only. Cool. I was like, oh, should I shotgun my back row? But nah.
Okay, and then I will Monster Reborn to resummon the. Do you want to be?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I was hoping Kamala wasn't once per turn. I don't know why I was hoping it wouldn't be, but I'll target the beat again.
Mm-hmm.
And summit synchro into Balkion, and then Cliff will trigger.
All right. So, with Barkion, do I still have the timing window to activate my trap and do the things before Barkion while it's still being summoned, or?
I don't know how this works because Natalia Cliff triggers because it was sent from field to the graveyard. I
Yeah.
don't know because I assume it's some negate. I imagine, based on context clues, but
Yeah.
I don't know how this works actually.
Yeah.
What's an actual relevant card that has this effect? So I can try and find the ruling for this.
Gosh, who knows?
Because I know.
I assume it does work because it's on board now. You've summoned it, so you can, I assume, negate my trap.
Because if it's not a counter trap, then I can.
Oh,
What?
it's not a counter trap.
Okay, then I could, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can make things slightly easier then.
yeah. It's a continuous trap, which is why I was kind of thinking I'm fucked on it because I was like, yeah.
Okay.
But it's not a huge deal anyway, so it's not like, oh no. It's just, okay.
Okay. So then problem solved itself. Okay.
Yeah.
So summon a level 4 alone Archetypal monster. And then let's bring out the stink bug. Flip summon Cliff.
Mm-hmm.
We will synchro for 7.
Mm-hmm.
Make Landois.
Mm-hmm.
The Archetypal monster, so everyone knows. Cliff will trigger again. I will special summon a level 4 low Naturia. Summon Camilla. I activate an effect to pretty much fool us a Naturia card. I will do Sacred Tree. And now I can add a Naturia card from my deck to my hand, except itself, and I will add the Shadow Blessing. Okay. Then we will Link Summon for Mrs. Radiant.
Nice.
It's maybe the only time anyone's ever special summoned all 3 Naturia Synchros.
And Element Sabers too.
No. Well, I think we just go for max damage here. So I will banish. Which one do I want to banish? This one's probably the most useless. Banish this. Special summon Rock Spirit. And let's start damaging.
All right.
2200 coming at.
All right. So that'd be, I take 3, right?
That sounds, yeah.
Yeah.
And then this will be 3k.
All right. That's 11.
This will be 2850. Have fun with that math.
Just gonna calculator that one. 950.
And 27.
E8.
Two, set 2 cards. That'll be my turn. The first time there's been a negate for every kind of card in this whole show. That felt pretty good. I feel like it might be the best Naturia will ever look.
Well, it's kind of disappointing because like I could have maybe made this interesting if I just drew a name, but I didn't, so I'm dead. Because it was like, oh hey, like our weird protection makes for like maybe an interesting interaction because I think I can actually get the Barkion face down if I draw a name and then activate the trap, then maybe pop off. But I just drew an unplayable spell card, so game 2.
Okay.
I'll go second again because this deck doesn't do anything going first.
Alright, we didn't. Okay, this is a much. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Alright, cool. This hand is awful.
Wait. I just realized I didn't read one of the normal summons in this deck. I didn't realize we had a spell trap negate on a normal summon. That's funny.
That's actually kind of wild. So I'll Camilla and I'll activate it. So I'll send 1 Jaya. I'll end the Sacred Tree, and I will add. Why do I have so many fucking tunas? Like half the fucking monsters are tunas. Yeah, I think I just added a Cliff here. Not sure that was the right decision, but that's the decision we gotta live with.
Mood. Alright, draw for turn. That's a card, I suppose. Activate the effect of Lapulia Mana. I will pitch Makani and Molahu. It'll be the same protections as last time. And then the hard part. Guess I'll normal summon Lapulia, the negate that I realized I have. I will attack over.
Yeah, that's fine. And that will take 1,000.
Yep. And I believe that is all this hand can do.
Okay.
Gaming.
Stand by me. No, I forgot to take the points from the other dude. Okay. Normal summon Mole Cricket. Activate effect. I'll tribute special summon 2 Naturia monsters.
Yep. Can't negate that, so you're good.
Let's get Cliff. Needle. Yeah, okay. Let's go to combat. I'll swing in.
I'll take 14.
Oh, it can't be destroyed. She, that's right.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean, you can get in more damage though if you want.
shit.
Or would you like to take back that combat step down, knowing you can't out the Lapulia?
No, I don't think it actually make that much of a difference.
All right.
Shit. That throws this out of order slightly.
Yep, I'm glad I opened the wind name because that's not destroyed by battle on his protections.
What are the odds you have an element saber in your hand?
I didn't last game, that's why I lost.
I think I see the line here. I will attempt to activate Monster Reborn.
Well, if that's a bait spell, it's too good of one to ignore. So, if you got a second power spell, you got it. But I do have to negate Reborn.
You don't have the second power spell, unfortunately, but I have this, and I will pass the turn.
All right. You're not the draw I was looking for. That's okay, maybe. Okay, so I'll start with Will Pen of Goldos. It will add, it'll shuffle back the two Makanis and then put the Horn Needle back in your hand.
Horn Needle, that's fine.
Those go to top of deck, and then shuffle. God, these guys suck when you're empty-handed. Like, it's just like, oh man, like they specifically need to pitch a name to do anything. Yeah, I guess I'll normal summon Molu.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I want to keep him in hand to negate things, but then I'm like just turbo losing this game, I feel like, if I'm not playing the game. So I will attack into Cliff with Molu.
So to get them in hand.
Ah, no. Well, heads always shreds, and I stand by this. So
Let's go.
so I'll take 15, right?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
It was actually
And we'll do it again.
I believe. Tails never fails me. Let's go! Remember when I flipped the coin, I was manipulating the RNG.
Main 2. Let's see. Nah, nothing there, so I'll pass.
Alright. We'll begin. I will pay for a fairy box. Pay 5. Okay.
I'm glad my prediction was right. Where like this deck will either get the elemental lords out or never be able to.
Oh, it's got the big element saber at least.
Yeah, like thank God for Lapulia Mana for just being a guy.
I don't think I have a path to lethal. I have a path to do a lot of damage, I believe.
You might have lethal. I'm at 36, and I have a 400 on board that can't die. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the Mrs. Radiant and like all of them, there's not a light and a dark version of those, is there?
I think there's one for every attribute.
Because I got everything but the light and darks in here, but I don't have the light and dark because I didn't see them off the top of my head. I was like, oh yeah, I found Doolittle, Great Fly, Mrs. Radiant. There probably is a light and dark one, but I missed them. And they're the ones I would have probably wanted right now, if anything.
I'm pretty sure they have one. I have to look. I'm like 90%.
There probably is. Like, I just probably missed them is the thing when I was... Because my dueling book search feels kind of weird, where it feels like it's easy to miss stuff on DB search.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, I think I see the line here. I will summon Mole Cricket.
Mm-hmm.
I will tribute it off for its effect. Sync off for Balkion. I will trigger Cliff.
Yep.
Fetch me a... Am I playing 2B? Oh, no, here it is. Oh, the Beetle. I think that's lethal.
Probably is, because I feel like Barkion's almost there by himself, and then you have 218, so like that. And are they getting boosted by anything or not?
These are not getting boosted, no.
Cool. So 21. Oh yeah, I'm turbo dead.
Oh.
The first one kills me. Actually, the first one dropped me to like 100, and then the second one gets me. So,
Yeah.
yep, you got it.
We got there. Let's go. I'm done losing finally.
Hooray. I am not shocked how this one went. I also don't think there was much I could have done better because this is one of those archetypes that just does not have its own spell traps.
Yeah.
Like, you have this field spell, you have elemental training, which is a not bad continuous trap. It's good for grindier games,
Yeah.
but like it's not fantastic. And then like that's it.
Yeah.
Like I was genuinely running Furing Kazan
That actually would
just
have
on the
been
off chance.
that would have been so awesome if that actually was a whole. That was episode 12.
Sure was.
Definitely more competitive than I thought it was going to be going into this.
Honestly, I'd say the same because I kind of expected this deck to shit the bed, so
I was kind of feeling
I survived longer than I thought I would. So
I feel like we both had similar ideas for the decks going in, but the Chillia takes the day. I do love the Chillia Beast. It's one of my favorite cards. That's why I like playing Melfi, because I can just make a bunch of the Chillia Beast. So I won this week, get an extra pack. How lovely. Jules gets to spin the new and improved loser wheel for the first time, because I've lost since we've initiated that one. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week.
have a good one.